Superman 78 is the story that we've all been yearning for, especially if you're a big fan of the Donner universe of the character. Writer Robert Venditti, artist Wilfredo Torres, Jordi Belair bring you what I believe would be the closest thing to a vision that would best represent Richard Donner's vision for a Superman film. Whether it be the likeness of the characters themselves, representing the actors from the previous films, or may it be the story beats or the dialogue of the overall environment of Metropolis itself. It definitely feels like a Superman sequel that we never got. The one big standout to me was basically the likeness of the characters themselves, of course, being represented. Whether it be Christopher Reeve as Superman, Clark Kent, or Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, or Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, as well as a return for a likeness from Marlon Brando as Jor-El. And the new addition to the story is Brainiac, who has a similar likeness to David Bowie. And if you're familiar with David Bowie, and especially his filmography, he looks a lot like the character he played in The Man Who Fell from Earth, where he was an alien. Another thing that I'd like to add is the artwork. I feel like all the images on the page properly represent everyone, as well as the settings in the story. The artwork pops off the page. Also, in the book, they were able to tell a story that is cinematic as shown through the panels, so you feel like you're legitimately watching a new Superman movie. I feel like if you watch the films, that you are rewarded for that. As I can remember as far back, I can always remember reading Superman comics. I always imagined Superman always sounding like Christopher Reeve, no matter what the story content was. And in this case, it was no different, as well as the many actors that were shown in the book. Another thing that I'd like to add to is when you take the cover off the book, it's reminiscent of a VHS cassette. And as you can see right there on the outside, it says Superman 78 with 152 pages, just like a runtime in a movie. And even when you flip it over, it's the back of the cassette itself. I thought this was a real nice touch to the book itself. I thought that it was a real great detail and made me feel all nostalgia on when I used to watch VHS tapes myself. And in case you were wondering, I did go about picking up Superman 78, the Metal Curtain, the follow up to Superman 78. The first thing right out the gate that I did notice is the art style was different. And just because it's different, it doesn't mean that it's bad or anything. It's just a different art style. Nonetheless, I did notice that it was the same writing team behind the book, so I imagine that it'll be a solid read. If I had to give this a rating, I would definitely give this story about a 4 out of 5. It did capture what I felt was what probably would have been an 80s Superman movie had it existed. I felt like this came right out of a vision that Richard Donner potentially could have had. And I feel like this could have been a fifth film nonetheless. And also, for any of those who like this read as well, they did do a Batman 89 story. And from what I've heard, it wasn't as well received as the Superman 78 book. But nonetheless, if you wanted to see what potentially could have been a Michael Keaton Batman movie, nonetheless, then you would have had your story right there. But at the end of the day, check out Superman 78. It's a great read. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you for checking out the video. I gladly appreciate it. If you just want to go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoyed it, that would help me out a lot. If you like the kind of content we put on this channel, which would be movies, music, comic books, anything pop culture related, please hit that subscribe button. I think you will enjoy all the content that we do have on this channel. So I just want to say thank you, and you guys have a wonderful day.